First of all, my company is called Kimpo Media Communications, and I work in consulting for out-of-home and other communications stuff like public relations primarily. So it's different. So the media side and the communication side. Now the reason I'm here is that I'd been involved in out-of-home media for a number of years, and I'd been active in the Asian circuit. And at one point, I got into a conversation with Daily Do, with Adrian Cotterill, and he said, "Would you be interested in a speaking engagement here in Vegas?" I said, "All right, what do you want me to talk about?" He said, "To talk about Asia, because a lot of people are intrigued with the region." All right, sure. And then I fortunately right now one of my gigs is as I'm setting up the Philippine office of Poster Scope, so the out-of-home media buying agency. So it's fortunate that I was able to talk to a lot of the counterparts in the network, got a lot of the information from it, and that was what I shared yesterday. What I did was, it was part of the Digital Signage 360, a global perspective. So yesterday I had, on the panel were guys who were representing Japan, Brazil, Poland, I think you interviewed Marius earlier, and Poland, and I think, yeah, those were it. Yeah, well, according to Adrian, he had a full house yesterday, and that was pretty good. I met some of them. I met some of the people who were in the session later that evening, and they were pretty well. They said it was well thought of, well prepared, and they were very happy. So I'm glad for the positive feedback. Well, what I'm here for is that, well, obviously, right, that we've had similar shows, but to a much lesser degree in Singapore primarily. And what I came here for primarily is to learn. I mean, obviously the United States, North America, and well, the Radians from the UK, the Western Hemisphere is a more advanced out-of-home market, right? I mean, it's more mature in the sense that you've been doing all of these signs and then out-of-home media and advertising for much longer. In our case, we're still in our early days, so a lot of it really at this point is learning. I think if you get lost with the eye candy, then it's difficult. So I think first thing is you want to take everything in, process it, and then at some point, then you go and see, okay, this is what I think is necessary. This is what is appropriate for the market. So it's really at this point to me, it's a whole new learning experience. I mean, just being here in Vegas is in itself, seeing the application of all of this technology is amazing in itself. It's a great experience. In terms of what is possible, I've seen it, but seeing it up close, that's the surprise. I mean, it's possible, but appreciating it from firsthand, that in itself is really different. Based on what I'm seeing right now, you're really looking at it being, apart from just the technology, it's really application. One of the more amazing things, and then you're seeing it already, it's the applications in retail and applications that have to do with mobile. And I think those are the two things that will really tell the difference and really improve or bring the industry forward in the next coming years. It can't be digital signage, digital out-of-home can't work in a vacuum. And I think what we're seeing right now is that, and I'm very glad that it's moving away from just the technology side of it, and it's moving more towards the application in real life situations. And I'm very glad that I'm seeing stuff that's being put out by a lot of the companies that are present here, and the applications in the retail environment, for example, in how you shop, and influencing how you make decisions at the point of sale. Those are amazing. And I've seen also a lot of the technology that has to do with integrating the mobile phone into the entire user experience. That, I think, is really the killer. If you look at signage in itself as a standalone and let it work in a vacuum and let it as a screen do all the perform and wow you with the technology of it all, without being connected to you, without interacting and being present as a part of your life or your path as a person or as a consumer, then it makes no sense because it's just eye candy. We live in a two-screen world. That's what people say. And they usually, when the media talks about a two-screen, it's usually related to television and your mobile devices. So while you're watching, let's say, the Oscars, you're also tweeting, you're also posting your comments on Facebook and doing all of that. But in reality, that two-screen phenomenon, as they're describing it, happens in your living room, or wherever it is that you're watching television. But the reality is, we all stay in our living rooms or in our bedrooms or wherever it is that we watch television for only a few hours of a 24-hour day. The reality of it is that we're leading lives outside, and we're walking, we're always outside. And that's where digital signage and digital out of home becomes very, very important, because we're looking at a screen that's in a mall or in a transit environment, wherever that screen is, that paid screen, as its job is to influence the consumer or the audience. The audience now has his own personal screen, which is usually your mobile device or your tablet, and it's the interaction between the two and what behavior that comes out of you, what you do as a result of being influenced by that paid screen, that really makes a difference. I think what we're really looking at now is the potential for digital signage, digital out of home, to draw a transaction. More than anything, we have to see it that way, because otherwise, then it's still television. I always look at things from a top view, in a sense, from the philosophy side of it, I guess. And what it really just tells us that you have to be aware of that path, of that journey that consumer takes every single day. It's that whole cliche of the path to purchase, or the daily journey that we all take as people, our daily lives, in short. Now, what do we want to do as marketers or as message senders is to be able to capture the attention of a person at a certain point in that daily life or that daily commute or that daily journey, and be able to tell him something and to elicit a response. Now, whether that response is for him to check out something or buy something or do something, that's up to you. But at the very least, that's the whole concept of it. Now, technology comes in to make the job easier for you and to make the entire experience as enjoyable for the person. So I think for this industry to really move forward, it's to realize that the technology is great, but it's a technology that must be contextualized in an objective. What do you really want to do? If you're communicating something, what is it? What's the response? What's the desired response? And if you go through that, then I think that's what really moves forward, because technology in itself is, I think, it's senseless, because otherwise it's really just, again, we go back, eye candy. I mean, it's just a nice shiny toy, but what do you use that gadget for? It's the utility of it. And I think more and more right now, there are some companies that are great at the tech, but what I feel excited about is when the tech now is married with an application in real life. Like, I've seen it and there's some integrated experiences that are shown here, where the tech is great, but it becomes truly amazing when it's put in a situation where, okay, it helps you to make a decision in the grocery shelf, for example. Now that is mind-blowing. It's not a technology thing, because really, what is it? It's an insight into human nature. Meaning to say that a person reacts to smell. The technology is the delivery of smell, but really, of the scent, of the fragrance, but really it's based on that insight into the human being, that you're just reacting. It's a sensory exercise. And that's the beauty of it. When you lose the tech and then you make the tech work for you and do something that's truly basic and truly human. Content is evolving in a sense now. Let me put it this way: in the emerging, in the early days markets, you tend to look at content as, all right, just put in pieces of trivia and do all of this, and it's really just filling up space. I'm glad that what we're seeing right now is you're really looking at ways of producing content that is truly relevant. And that's why all of these social media things, social media applications, just again, you mentioned that emission of fragrance and being able to capture your profile for flavors and all of that. That's content rather that is truly relevant to you. Now, I'm glad that it's evolved that way, because if you look at things that are truly relevant, if you introduce things that are truly relevant to the audience, and you respect that audience for his or her likes, then you're then setting it up for the audience to keep on looking at you, because ultimately the objective of a screen is to draw attention. If we're just putting mindless content up there, then our brains will automatically tell us or train us to tune out. That's why it's really important that content is relevant to the audience that's there. And I'm glad that a lot of these things right now, because of the IP-based technologies, they're able to, and you're seeing also a lot of these camera-based technologies that allow you to really guess who the person is. It's very, very important because if you're able to put out or deliver content that's truly relevant to the audience that's viewing your screen, that attention will be present there. And without the attention, it's just a piece of glass. If you want to get connected to the industry just like I do, you will make it a point to come to next year's Digital Signage Expo. So believe me, it is worth every single minute. Be there.